Hi, welcome to my channel and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Today I bring a topic about op-ed, why a maritime focus is essential to Vietnam's security. Accommodating Beijing's maritime expansionism would undermine Vietnam's long-term security and that of the surrounding region. A structure on Vietnamese held light reef in the South China Sea or Panorama. The maritime executive geography influences the strategic choices of all countries, but Vietnam is an interesting case of a swing state in comparative grand strategy terms. The country occupies the eastern part of the Indo-Chinese peninsula with an elongated coastline of 3,260 kilometers facing the South China Sea. Vietnam also sits unambiguously in continental Asia, sharing a 1,300-kilometer border with China, as well as abutting Cambodia and Laos. The duality in Vietnam's situation threading Southeast Asia's geostrategic fault line gives it unusual flexibility to develop a continental or maritime orientation, despite a strong landwards pull in Vietnam's history. Hanoi was laterally and perhaps decisively adopted a maritime course, though the country's grand strategy remains dynamic and is actively debated among observers. In the second half of the 20th century, Vietnam's communist leadership was absorbed by the anti-colonial struggle and national unification. The long wars against French and then the United States when Hanoi's ideologically and material allies were the Soviet Union and China to lesser extent, encouraged a continental disposition. Coastal supply routes were important to sustaining Hanoi's Revolutionary War effort in South Vietnam, but the main axis of supply ran overland through Laos and Cambodia along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. North Vietnam's armed forces checked or lacked the means to contest U.S. sea control in the South China Sea. China forcibly expelled South Vietnamese forces from the Paracel Islands in 1974, though Hanoi maintained Saigon's claim. After reunification in 1975, Vietnam's border conflict with China in 1979 and prolonged military intervention in Cambodia throughout the 1980s ensured that Hanoi was preoccupied by land-based threats for the remainder of the Cold War, with the exception of a brief clash with China in the Spratly Islands in 1988. In the 21st century, however, Vietnam has transformed into an export-oriented economy that depends upon freedom and navigation in the South China Sea and beyond to deliver its prosperity. This has influenced threat perceptions. The majority of Vietnam's population and infrastructure is concentrated on the coast, making it vulnerable to attack from the sea. Vietnam has to defend and police the oil, gas, and fish within its exclusive economic zone as well as its territorial claims in the Spratly Islands. If, in future, China is able to exert uncontested control within the so-called Nine-Dash Line and acquires access to a naval base in Cambodia, Vietnam could find itself encircled and vulnerable to blockade. Once access to seaborne trade is denied, Vietnam would suffer immediately and grievously. The move towards the maritime strategy is evidenced by changes to Vietnam's defense. Also capability despite the effects of the 2008 global financial crisis. Vietnam doubled its defense expenditure between 2006 and 2010. From 2009, it began acquiring six Russian Kilo-class submarines armed with anti-ship and land attack, club supersonic cruise missiles capable of hitting China. The modernization of the Vietnam People's Navy was officially declared a priority at the 11th National Party Congress in 2011. The 2019 Defense White Paper put seal on Vietnam's strategic reorientation by officially identifying it as a maritime nation. Vietnam is unlikely to prevail in a serious maritime conflict with China, but it has made significant investment to raise the cost of the aggression. Despite these trends, it has been argued recently that Vietnam should look west for its survival and refocus its strategic attention from the maritime domain to its land borders, because the balance of power on land works more in Vietnam's favor. According to this line of argument, Hanoi has little long-term hope of defending its maritime claims in the South China Sea due to the growing power disparity between China and Vietnam. But the strategic situation on land is less severe than it may first appear. In reality, a binary continental versus maritime dilemma is somewhat artificial. Vietnam will continue to look landwards for its security and to some extent for its prosperity too. Hanoi cannot overlook the possibility of the invasion or incursion across its land borders. It is also the case that Vietnam's armed forces remain army-dominated for historical reasons. However, China and Vietnam signed a border treaty in December 1999, which was ratified in 2000. The two sides completed border demarcation in 2009. Although China has a dominant economic profile and also significant political influence in both Cambodia and Laos. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.